So what are those 10 things that I would say are the distillation of all the things that I preach and talk about in my Agile MBA class? I think one of the big ones is blindness to cues. This comes to us, and a lot of the ideas actually come to us from a gentleman named Don Reinertson. So I don't want to take credit for any of this stuff. This is all stuff I've read. Don Reinertson wrote a wonderful book called Principles of Product Development Flow. And he said that one of the biggest problems in all organizations is that they're blind to cues, meaning they don't know how much work they have. They don't know where it is at any one time. There's no transparency of what's being done. There's too many cues. There's too much in each cue. Queuing theory is very simple. You can think about traffic is the way I explain it to my class. You have customers. You have queues, which are the lines themselves, and you have servers. It's pretty simple. The more servers you have, the more that they can serve customers, then the shorter the line will be. We know this just by going into Starbucks in the morning. We know this from rush hour traffic. If something happens and there's an accident, we lose one lane of traffic. And in this case, the lane is a server. What happens to the queue? What happens to your ability to move through the queue? It's severely hampered, and it's not hampered in proportional. It's disproportional. Meaning that if you lose one lane of a 4-lane highway, it's not going to take you 25% more. It's probably going to take you double. So it's a nonlinear relationship. And what I've seen a lot, especially in project management and project management organizations, is that we tend to push into our systems. We push into the queues, and we push too much work into the queues. It's just that simple. And because of it, your cycle time is going to be not directly, it's not 100% directly proportional, but it's generally directly proportional to queue size and the number of queues you have. So queuing is a big deal. We talk about if any of y'all familiar with value mapping, where you take a piece of work that has value for your customer and you map all the places within the organization it has to go in order to be delivered back to the customer as value. These are your queues. And the greater the number of queues, the greater the cycle time. The greater the cycle time, the higher the cost of delay. And I like to refer to it as inventory. You get all this inventory stuck in your system because even ideas are inventory. They're valuable. And so we need to make our queues transparent, and we need to understand how things move from place to place. And we need to reduce the size of the queues and the number of queues, so that we can actually deliver the value to our customers. Something that's relational to that, which is number 2, again, coming to us from Reinertson, is work in progress. Not only do we have too many things in our queue, but we have too many things that we work on at any single one time. And the work in progress is proportional, again, to cycle time. Cycle time related to value delivery, and we might want to call it money, right? If we have $1 million idea, but it's stuck in our queues and we're working on too many things so that it's stuck in the process, we can't make money from it. We can't deliver it. So this is one of the things that goes against agility. I always joke with my classes that my mother used to say, the sooner you start, the sooner you finish. That's not true. We tend to, a lot of places will do project management, and we have these project kickoffs. You're all probably familiar with it, right? And we have these great parties with balloons and clowns and cake and whatever. There's no value in celebrating the start of something. The only value is in celebrating the delivery of something, because that's where we make money. I want to do a thought experiment. Again, this is borrowed from Reinertson's book. This is taken directly from it. I just made my own PowerPoint copy of it. Let's assume that you have 4 things that you want to do. We can call them projects, we can call them features, we can call them themes, you can call them initiatives. I don't care what you call them. Each one of these 4 things would take 3 months to deliver on its own. If we started all 4 at the same time, we would finish all 4 at the same time, and they would all finish at the end of the year. Right? You with me? Makes complete sense. Simple mathematics. If I were to just start 2 instead of starting all 4, I would deliver the first 2 within 6 months. I would deliver the second 2 in the second 6 months, meaning that all items would still be delivered at the end of the year. But the difference is, by delivering 2 first instead of trying to do all 4 at the same time, I have actually delivered 6 months of incremental value for the first item and 6 months of incremental value for the second item. That's 12 months of incremental value versus 0, right? That's a big difference. So we need to reduce the amount of work in progress. In Larry's simple world, I have this simple ideal world that I live in, and people accuse me of being not practical. I would do project number 1, project number 2, project number 3, project number 4, because then at the end of the day, I would have 18 months of incremental value from the projects that I delivered versus 0. 0 is not a good number in this case. The other thing is I can learn from projects 1 and 2. I can learn things that I can apply to the future projects, or more importantly, I have optionality, because I now don't have the sunk cost fallacy, because I've already started something, so I might as well finish it, which is a sunk cost fallacy. I can look back and say, hey, wait a minute. Now that we look at this, we were about to start projects 3 and 4, but you know what? Projects 5 and 6 are more important, because then I could start them 6 months from now, right? So the amount of work that we have in progress, the amount of work that we start, the amount of work that we have in our queues, and the amount of queues we have really increases the cycle time. And that really increases our time to market, and it decreases our ability to deliver value to our customers.